Hi everyone, it's Adrian here. It's a long time since we've had an interview, and I'm here with Cassie White. Cassie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I'll just read off a little bit from Cassie's website. So if you're looking at me, if I'm looking sideways, that's the reason why. Just the about me. I'm a Sydney-based personal trainer, yoga coach, and health journalist. Then there's also some more interesting stuff there. For example, I'm also sick of all the self-loathing in the world. And people can go to obviously your website. I won't read it out. But Cassie, maybe if you can give people an idea how you started in the health industry, because I know you're a personal trainer now, but
Mhm.
also you've got very significant qualifications as a journalist. You're frequently on ABC radio. So how did the whole journey start for you?
Well, Adrian, I was originally a news journalist, so I was doing news and investigative journalism at the ABC, at ABC
Right.
Online in Brisbane. So I did that for about 5 years, but the pull of the story just didn't really get me a whole lot anymore. And I always felt
Right.
like I wasn't really enjoying my job anymore, even though I loved to write. And on the side, meanwhile, outside of being a news journal, I
Yeah.
had this whole other life and I was really into fitness and I was into yoga and I really enjoyed doing that. And so I just sort of fell into, I guess, a little bit of health writing. So I started off
Sure.
with ABC Health Online, just a little bit of freelance. And then I started working for some magazines and realized that I really, really loved it.
Yeah.
And so I kept doing that on the side for a little while. And a job came up in Sydney at Men's Health magazine as a writer there, and I thought, what the hell, I'll go for it.
That's a pretty big job.
Yeah, and I applied and didn't think I'd hear back, and yeah, got the call up, and 4 weeks later, I was living in Sydney. So that's
That
how
moved quickly.
yeah, the universe provides. And so I was living, had been living in Sydney for a few years, working in the magazine full time, so full time health and fitness
Yep.
journalism, doing a few other things on the side, running a freelance writing business. And then I don't know, I just thought it's something I toyed with for a really long time is actually getting out of the office and putting, putting everything that I write about into practice. And
Sure.
I thought, just do it. I
Sure.
don't know. There's never a right time. So I just had to bite the bullet and I just gave it a go and left my job. And yeah, the rest is history, really.
Is that the sort? I know because you're ridiculously busy. I mean, everyone's busy, but you seem ridiculously busy. Is that part of your personality? Is kind of jump before you're 100% ready?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't think we're ever really ready for
No,
anything. If you waited until you were ready, we'd never really get started. So my motto is basically feel the fear and do it anyway, Adrian. And that's basically
that's a
what
good
I did.
motto.
Just leap and the net will appear. I don't know. There's so many different sayings you can have around this, but I just thought I just need to do it.
Sure.
And it's worked out well, really well so far.
Obviously, you said you're investigative journalist. Is that? I mean, there's journalism, and then obviously this sounds like a slightly different branch. Is that finding out what's really real and what's not?
Basically, it's taking a really hard look at an issue, something that maybe someone is covering up, or really finding like the truth about a story or an issue, and
Right.
it's the kind of journalism where it's not just writing a story; it's really how do I explain? Really unveiling something or exposing someone or something that's trying to be hidden or that's
It
unethical.
sounds pretty confronting.
Yeah, it was really confronting, and I had a go at it, and now I can say, yep, I've done that, but not for me.
Right. So you're not doing so much the investigative journalism anymore?
No, no. So that was when I was working in news.
Right.
I was doing investigative journalism, but now, yeah, that's nothing. I don't do that
Right.
anymore.
Sure.
No.
Did you ever turn your attention to, I mean, there's a lot of health information out there, right? I mean, everyone's got the secret to weight loss and you do it in, one day with no effort. Did you ever turn any of your attention to maybe some of the fads and the myths surrounding the health and fitness industry?
Oh, absolutely. It's something I do all the time, not in a really in-depth investigative way because those kinds of stories take
Take a lot
months
of
of
time.
your life.
Yeah.
But I'm always looking at the latest health trends, the latest fads, the latest detox, and looking behind, whether or not there's any substance to
Yeah.
these. And so, I sometimes use myself as a guinea pig, or I interview experts, ask them the questions, and find out what's really happening, because
Yeah,
people don't do that. People just believe what
that's very
the
true.
marketing hype is, and so we want to know, is there any truth behind this? And so it's, yeah, definitely something I look at all the time.
For sure. Now, we'll get on to the personal training and your ebook. I love your ebook, by the way, just because of the way you write. I'm assuming it's a personality trait. You're very direct, and you seem to say what you mean, and that comes across in the ebook. I mean, I also your blog. I mean, the last blog article I saw from you was that time I looked forward to my colonoscopy, um, which which is great. But just looking at the yoga side, because is it a yoga guide? Is that the correct term?
A Strala yoga
A
guide, yes.
Strala yoga guide. Now, I've been interested in Strala for yonks because it's gained quite a lot of following. What's the difference between Strala and other yoga?
So we say that Strala is an energy system that ignites freedom. Basically, and this is why we call ourselves Strala guides rather than Strala teachers, like you would a regular yoga
Yeah,
teacher, because you're not teaching anybody anything. You're just guiding them in a process that already comes naturally to them, to all of us. But
yeah,
it's just really allowing yourself within a class to just move within yourself and move within what feels good on your body, and creating your own shapes rather than
sure.
some predetermined way that you should look, and how poses should look, and how things should feel, and I need to be good at yoga, or I need to do this, it needs to be like that. Whereas
Yeah,
Strala is just being you.
right.
It's not about the pose. It's not about getting into a pose. The goal isn't that. The goal is you. The goal is creating an incredible body awareness by moving in ways that feel really good for you. And sure, the guide has a sequence, and
Yeah,
we do the sequence and we follow it, but it's your version of it. And whatever is right for your body. We're all built differently. We all
definitely.
have limitations and strengths, and so you can't be expected to look a certain way, and not everyone has a yoga body or is good at yoga, whatever that even
I
means.
wish. Yeah. Have you found that Strala appeals to a certain type of person? I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there who love yoga, and they might even love a certain type of yoga, whether it's hatha or hot yoga or Bikram. Have you found that that Strala appeals to the people who maybe don't like the other yoga, or is it people who already like yoga? Basically, who does Strala really appeal to?
It appeals to a lot of people. First of all, it appeals to people who don't like yoga,
Right.
people who are a bit intimidated or a bit put off by yoga because they don't feel like they can do it, or they aren't welcome in that they're
Yeah.
not, that it's not really their thing. But when people realize that they can just be them and it doesn't matter what they look like, and so this is why a lot of guys really like it as well.
Ah, okay.
So that kind of person really appeals to, and also just people who love yoga and want to try something different and something a little
Sure.
bit fun and something that's more laid back. It can be. I love yoga. I love traditional yoga. I'm
Yeah.
trained in that as well. I'm happy to teach that. I love nothing more than going to a yoga class where I have to have strict alignment and come and get adjusted by teachers and all of that. I think it's great. But there's a place for everything,
Mm.
and I think that sometimes you just want to move and you just want to flow, and you don't really want to have to care about where your knee placement is, or
For sure.
if the back of your foot lines up with the arch of your other foot. Like, you don't, you just want to just play, and that's great.
Definitely. I mean, I've done yoga. So we say, for example, you go to a yoga class. Generally, what I've seen is you go in and maybe it's heated, maybe it's not. You sit down, you do some breathing, and then, as you said, you go through a structured flow. The teacher will come around and make sure, if it's a good teacher, will make sure your alignment's right, and you only push to where sort of your limit is.
Mhm.
And normally in the background there's no music, or it's very, very silent music. How does it go in a Strala class? I'm imagining it's got to be quite different.
Yeah, so I don't give a lot of cues about alignment. There are
Hmm.
certain little safety things that, as a personal trainer, that I'm aware of, and
Sure.
I make sure I include. The music is up loud.
Oh, that's different.
Um,
What sort of music is it, out of interest?
It's anything and everything. And honestly, people tell me so much that they love my playlists, and I've put them on Spotify, and people started to follow them on Spotify now because they like them. It's just a bit of everything. I've got some, so on the one I'm playing at the moment, I've got some White Stripes, I've got TLC. Um,
This is not typical yoga music, is it?
I've got everything. I've got some Chet Faker. It's pretty broad. I've got a lot going on there. And in terms of going and being adjusted and things
Yeah,
like that, it's not something I really do. We do touch and support, which is, I think, different to being adjusted,
yeah,
different to the way I was taught in traditional yoga and how to adjust someone. It's more just helping someone just get into something a little bit more, or just relax a little bit more, or just,
sure.
in sitting in Warrior Two, and we're moving around and just trying to remind people to relax their shoulders. And you just got someone and just give them a gentle, just, to let them know that it's
Sure.
okay to just, just sway and relax.
So it really is more like you're offering guidance rather than instructing someone what they should be doing.
And Strala guide.
That all
Yeah.
makes sense. Now, just for people who don't know, Strala originated in New York City, if I'm correct, with Tara Stiles.
Yeah.
Now, you went to New York to learn to become the Strala yoga guide.
Yes.
I think you're one of the only ones in Australia, though, who's actually got that qualification. Am I right?
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
Right. So this is really very definitely a unique thing, which is why I was so glad that I found someone in Australia who does it. And we'll go through the details of where people obviously can reach you and practice some Strala with you. But what we'll just do now, we'll go on to your ebook, because your ebook, if I can just find it here, which is a great read, and it's not too long, which is also fantastic. So everyone, we're all busy. And people go, I hate reading, I don't have time to read. But it's short, but it's sweet. Now, there are three you call them principles in your ebook. And your ebook is, again, coming back to the way you write, get your swagger back. So I like that. It's not like how to lose weight in 30 days. Now, we'll go through them one at a time, but here are the three principles. One is lift heavy things. Two is feed yourself well. And the third one is move with grace. Now, we go to the top and lift heavy things. Why should, especially girls, there's a bit of a phobia sometimes, why should girls be wanting to lift heavy things as opposed to maybe doing cardio?
Well, for starters, lifting heavy things is so empowering. Being strong in body and therefore in mind and spirit, it is so empowering to be able to lift something that's 70 kilos off the floor is like nothing on earth. I tell you what. So first of all, it's a great feeling.
Sure.
Secondly, I mean, having this lean kind of muscle, women talk about wanting to tone up
Yeah.
and have that kind of have that kind of body. That is from lifting heavy things. That is from doing weights training. That's
Right.
not something that you're going to get with cardio. So that sexy defined shape, that it completely changes your body shape as well. So in terms of aesthetics, I mean, that kind of body that we all want
Yeah.
comes from lifting weights. Also, having lean muscle on you is going to help you burn fat even when you're at rest.
Which
So
is great.
after a weight session, your body is repairing itself and it's using calories to do that.
Sure.
Also, long term, it's something that we really want to be doing because as we age, each decade, as we get older, we lose a certain percentage of our muscle mass, and that's what happens if you're not strong enough from a young age. You'll become one of those, little old ladies who can barely hold themselves up,
Sure.
and nobody wants to do that. Yeah, we want to be climbing Everest when we're 80. So
For sure.
this is why you want to be lifting a lot of heavy things.
Right. What
Why-
what what about sorry, what about the girls? And I'm going to say girls, that's a bit of a stereotype, but it's normally girls who are phobic about lifting weights because the excuse I've heard is, I don't want to bulk up, I don't want man arms, and maybe to a lesser extent, they're a bit intimidated when they go in. I had a lady tell me this, and she said she went to do a CrossFit session and she saw these people, doing pull-ups and all these things, and she went, that's not for me. What about the muscle arms? Address the whole, suddenly having huge arms issue for us.
Well, first of all, women don't have enough testosterone to have massive muscle. And when you see women like that who are quite big, I mean, that's their goal. That's what they want to do. They're in the gym 6, 7 days a week, lifting heavy loads, and you don't know what they're doing on the side. You don't
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
what's going on there. But if you are someone like me and 80% of women out there, that's not your goal. You have no desire to be in the gym doing that. So
No.
that's not what's going to happen. You have a training program that's tailored for you and your goals. And so you don't, that's not going to happen for you.
Sure. There's a lot of home workout programs as well, but some of them have weights, some of them don't. I'm imagining if someone actually wants to start lifting heavy weights, it would be a good idea to actually seek the advice of a personal trainer, someone who knows what they're doing and can guide them, right? You wouldn't want them really just to go in the gym and look at someone next to them and say, oh, they're doing that, I'm going to do that too.
No, absolutely not. And I see this in the gym all the time.
Right.
And you don't want to be doing that because you need to have a really solid foundation. You really want to have excellent technique and have someone guide you and show you exactly how to do things and build a really solid base. And you start light and you get the great technique and then you get stronger. And so by the time you start lifting heavy weights, you know what you're doing and you're strong and you're confident and you're empowered and you're not overwhelmed and feeling intimidated by all these other people around you. And it's going to save you from injury as well.
That's a big one, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay, so that's lift heavy things, number one. Number two, feed yourself well. Now, I know that you admit very frequently that you splurge from time to time. What's your... Eating is one of those things that's ridiculously complicated. People go, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can't eat that. Basically, you can't eat anything. What's your general attitude to being able to eat healthily but also still enjoy life?
It's called balance.
Key concept.
It doesn't need to be complicated. And this is the thing, and it's nobody's fault. It's just there are so many mixed messages out there. We overcomplicate absolutely everything to the point where who knows what to do anymore. You can't eat carbs, you can't eat carbs, you can't eat fat, too much fat, paleo, vegetarian, pescatarian. Like, honestly, it doesn't need to be that complicated. Just eat well. Just eat vegetables, eat fruit, eat lean meat. Yeah, nothing is off the table. Sugar, carbohydrates, of course, eat them. It's just building a healthy relationship with food and knowing that nothing's off the table. It's that some foods are sometimes foods, and that 80% of your diet should just be sensible, eating a broad range of everything, not cutting anything out, not cutting whole food groups out which contain important nutrients. And it's just being smart about it. Just use your gut instinct. What you know in your gut, what we all know in our guts is the right thing to do. And when you do splurge and you go out for dinner or you drink too many wines or you do what I do and pick and mix at the convenience store, it's knowing that you have put in the hard work and you eat well broadly and don't feel bad about it. Own it.
Sure, yes, definitely. Don't feel guilty about it.
No, and you shouldn't have to. If you have a healthy relationship with food and you eat really well and you train smart, then there should be absolutely no reason why these things shouldn't be enjoyed.
For sure. From your experience, you said trusting your gut, and that's a huge thing. Have you found that most people, when you say that, they're instinctively knowing what's healthy if they're being honest with themselves?
Of course, we all do. We all know what it is. But the problem is that's boring. Right. Let's be honest, that is boring. We all want the silver bullet. We want the magical health elixir that's going to help us drop weight really quickly. But we all know deep down in our gut what it is, what it takes. Yeah. But it's just eating your fruit and vegetables, eating your 2 and 5. That's not a sexy message to sell. That's why there are so many detoxes and cleansers and everything else out there.
Do you have any tips for helping people get more vegetables in their diet? Because from my experience, that's the one that people struggle with the most. Fruit is, grab a banana, it's got some taste. But I know so many people, especially guys, I don't know how it is with girls, but no, I don't eat salad. I don't eat any green. Is there any tips you have for people to just get the 5 serving of vegetables into their day and not make it seem like such a chore?
Yeah, honestly, and 5 cups of vegetables a day is a lot more than you think.
Oh, yeah. It's a hell of a lot.
Basically, I say vegetables at every single meal. So
Yeah.
even at breakfast, I know people are like mind blown.
Have a
Breakfast
salad at
vegetables
breakfast.
can't
No.
comprehend. But honestly, if you have some eggs for breakfast, like I do, I whisk up some eggs and
Yeah.
put them in the microwave for 2 minutes. Boom, scrambled eggs at
Sure.
work. But chop up some tomato, a little bit of zucchini, some mushy, some peas, throw them in. There you go. There's some veggies there.
Sure.
Um, just I always bake up a batch of pumpkin, sweet potato, any kind of veg. I
Yeah.
just bake that up once or twice a week and then have it in a Tupperware container in the fridge
Right.
there to throw into every single meal.
That's
Just
one thing that I've heard from other people is that they tend to do their cooking in bulk so that they're prepared because they feel that when they're hungry, that's when they're most likely to reach for the candy bar or things like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's my big thing. Sunday meal prep. I've been doing it for a few years now, and yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the butt to get started when you're not used to doing it.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's the way. You'll thank yourself during the week when you
Sure.
have breakfast done, lunches done, things in the freezer, stuff you've slow cooked or shredded some meat up.
Yeah,
It just makes life so much easier.
for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
How long did you take to sort of get into that routine of making Sunday your cooking day?
Um, Goodness, I've been doing it for such a long time now.
You can't remember. It's
Yeah,
just the way.
yeah, it just comes so naturally to me now. And
Sure.
look, I'm going to be honest, I'm not an angel. I am disorganized like more than I'd like to be. And so there are times where I wake up on Monday morning and I'm like, okay, I don't really have anything going here.
Right.
And then I struggle then, and luckily there's a Woolies across the road from the gym, so I'll go and get some things. But yeah, but it's hard. It's really hard not being prepared.
For sure.
And so it just honestly has made my life so much easier, especially when I wake up so early and I've already got brekkie done and
Yeah,
I can just grab stuff out of the fridge and go.
for sure. What's an early start for you?
So some days I have clients at 6 a.m.
Ouch.
Um, I consider a 7 a.m. client. So I have a 7 a.m. Yoga class that I teach on Wednesdays, and
Mm,
that's a sleep in for me.
that's I know the feeling all too well. 7:30 is like, oh my God, what's going on
Yeah.
here? So, okay, that's great. Let's move on to the third one, move with grace. Is
Mhm.
that basically practicing yoga or Strala, or is there something you'd like to add to that as well?
The thing about yoga is it just teaches you mind body connection. It
Mm,
helps you breathe, and not just Strala, any kind of yoga, whatever works for you. It's about being connected to you and being connected to your breath and just being connected to your body. And it's something that so many people aren't doing.
yeah.
And I notice sometimes when I get stressed and I'm busy and I'm not, say, for example, breathing, I'm just
Mm,
taking, I'm breathing, but I'm not breathing properly. And then I take a step back or I go to a yoga class and I just, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay. And then it just starts to bring a little bit more grace and a little bit more calmness into your life. And when you start to know your body and move within it, and that's the great thing like about Strala is you get to know your own body so well that
right.
you have a bit more grace and you have swagger and you just feel more comfortable in you rather than being so disconnected from yourself, which is so common.
I was just going to ask, have you found most people are really struggling with their mind-body connection in the modern world?
Yeah, absolutely. We are living all up here.
Yeah,
There's no body at all. We just live our lives
as
from
a head,
yeah,
and the body is just a transportation to take the head around.
yeah, pretty much. And we don't treat it very well either.
No. Just quickly, because you mentioned that S word, the swagger. What is swagger? When you say get your swagger back, what's the swagger? Why that word?
Because it's for me, it's the kind of the word encompasses everything that we all want to be at the end of the day. We all want to be confident. We want to be
Sure.
cool. We want to be collected. We want to be calm and feel sexy and feel strong and empowered and have our shit together. It's all of that. All for me, swagger is everything. That word encompasses all of that.
Have you found most people are living like that? Most
No,
people have swagger. Because I mean, I'd love to feel like that, but I should tell you, most days I don't feel like I've got my shit together.
I think we all strive for it, and some of us, yeah, lucky few who are there. But I think
Yeah,
for a lot of us, it's a work in progress.
yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, that's the ebook, and we'll put a link down below so people can get straight to it. Now, we'll just wrap up. Now, I finish with the same 10 questions, but they're not my questions. And every time I ask someone, I ask them, have you heard of the Actors Studio? Have you heard of Inside the Actors Studio?
No.
Okay, so no one's heard of it. It's a show in the US. It's been going for a while, but he always finishes with the same 10 questions. So they're not my questions, but we'll just go through them and just whatever comes to mind. So, number one, what is your favorite word?
Oh, I just thought swagger.
Swagger.
Just talking about it. So,
Yeah, I think I put that in your head there. Okay, what is your least favorite word?
um, oh God, like.
Okay, as in I like something, or people who just keep brain farting the like and
Yeah,
like.
people who keep brain farting
Okay.
like, and I am one of them.
Oh, okay, that's awkward.
It drives me crazy. It's such a Gen Y thing where every second word is like, and now I'm just yeah.
Just have to slap yourself every time you say like, I guess. Okay, number three, what turns you on?
Um, confidence.
That's a good answer. What about what turns you off?
Neediness.
That's a ouch one. Yeah, got that one. Okay, number five, what sound do you love?
Um, I love the first thing in the morning when I'm the only one awake because I can't sleep in, and everything is quiet, and it's just the birds, it's just the morning stillness, it's just me and a cup of coffee, just the air, just Sunday morning. I love it. That's my favorite
How
stuff.
long does that last for?
Oh, depending on how early I wake up, but maybe an hour or so before the world wakes.
It's really funny because I've got some sample answers here, and the person's written silence, the
Yeah.
peaceful kind.
Oh,
Uh,
I know.
God, one sympathizes. Number six, what sound do you hate?
Um, the playlist in my gym at the moment.
Oh, is that because it goes on loop all the time?
Yeah.
Kind of gets in your head, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Number seven, here's a good one. What is your favorite curse word?
Do you want to know?
Well, I'll
Um,
tell you that everyone has given me the same answer, and it starts with F.
no, mine's slightly worse than that.
Go for it.
The C word.
I'll say it for you.
Someone said something
Yeah, I'm just happy that it's not fuck. Everyone else has been the F word. It's like, okay, I want someone to say something different. Okay,
I did.
that's refreshing. Okay, number eight. What profession other than yours would you like to attempt?
Um, completely unrelated field. Oh, wow. It'd be cool to be a pilot.
That's
Yeah.
up there.
I think a pilot would be good.
That sounds good. What about number nine? What profession would you not like to do?
Oh, an operator of a daycare center.
Why is that?
I prefer grown-ups. I love kids. I do. I love kids, but I think that you have to be so patient, and I don't know if I have that level of patience.
How patient are you, as a general rule?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm probably on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being Mother Teresa. I'm probably about a 6 or a 7. Yeah.
On a good day?
Yeah.
Okay. Without coffee and on a bad day, it obviously gets worse. Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
G&T?
That's how you write as well. That's what I love. That would be great. Go to heaven right now. Well, look, Cassie, that's it. Thanks so much for your time. If people want to get in touch with you, whether it's for Strala classes, for personal training, or anything else in general, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Jump on my website. It's cassiewhite.com.au.
Sure. Okay. And that's about it, I think. So I'll put all the links below and they'll be linked to in the video. And thank you so much for your time because I know how busy you are.
Thanks for having
And
me.
my pleasure. And I'll speak to everyone soon. Bye bye.